Red Forest visual updates, map repeat prevention, better bots, eruption changes, and some new cosmetic lands. Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We just received a developer update for February 2023. This is posted at 10 a.m. Let's go ahead and jump on into all of the information. First things on the list, Red Forest is going to be getting a visual update. That means all variations, including the Temple of Purgation, are also going to be receiving this treatment. So on screen right now, what you're seeing are some of the wonderful images of the new updated Red Forest, and I must say, it does actually look quite well. The lighting seems a lot different, some of the textures look a lot better, and you can even notice that inside of the building itself, you can see a lot of different dolls, so more homey to the Huntress, essentially. You can also see the Temple of Purgation now has really well-lit candles. You can see that the lighting looks really awesome. The next picture, we have a lot of moss growing on the walls, so a lot of attention to detail there with some more candles around as well. And then the final thing is that the exit door has been changed as well, so that's pretty cool. I like that they're making different variations to all of the exit gates, as it gives all the maps a little bit more uniqueness to them. So all in all, I'm pretty excited for this, and I'm looking forward to what else they're going to be changing. Obviously, there is still the swamp that they need to update, and then after that, we'll see if they decide to go back to the other maps. Carrying on forward, they then spoke about a map prevention, repeat prevention. This is something they spoke about prior, and essentially, long story short, this means that if you played a game, let's say on Area Crows, the next time that you boot up, whether you're killer or survivor, you're not going to be playing Area Crows again. And this goes for everybody in the lobby, so 5 people max, and then there's also lower probability after the fact to not receive that map as well. This is just so that you're not playing the same map every single day, every single time, which has happened quite often. The last time I streamed, I had Area of Crows 3 times in a row. Obviously, if someone does place an offering, this will counter that. So if you did play on Eerie and then someone brought the Area Crow offering, you will be going to the map because that changes the whole probability. But more than likely, if no one is bringing any variations to the maps, no offerings, you will have a nice variety overall, which is quite good and healthy for the game. Moving on forward, they then spoke about bot loadouts and some improvements to them as well. As you guys know, not too long ago, they added some bots into DBD, which is quite nice. You can practice some things, you can test your skills out, or if you're like me, you can get some awesome footage with some bots. They basically are saying that they're making a bunch of changes to these survivor bots. Hopefully one day we'll also get some killer bots. As of now, we don't have that, but they said that they've improved the navigation in some areas, preventing the bots from getting stuck in some places or attempting to loop something that they shouldn't. Bots are now bold when it comes to unhooking their fellow survivors. This was a huge issue. If you remember last time, if you were just near a survivor, bots wouldn't come whatsoever. They also said that bots will now actively attempt to seek out totems when using totem hunting perks such as small game or counterfurs. Bots will now react to some audio cues as well, such as the raid spell, etc. Bots have learned to better respond to certain killer powers. For example, they will now crouch next to the hag's traps and disarm bear traps. They then said that bots will now attempt to break line of sight in a loop while a ranged killer is aiming at them, and many more things to come. They also said that bots are by no means meant to replace a real person, but we're hoping to improve with this to make them slightly better and more realistic in practice. So this is pretty cool. Not only is this going to happen, but you will be able to customize a bot's loadout, which is really nice. So now if you want to get a whole team running Sprint Burst or a whole team running Dead Hard so you can practice like everyday matches, you can have some good practice with them while using perks on the bots. Speaking of perks, they finally went on to some perk changes, and at long last, Eruption is going to be getting a change. Now, I'm assuming for those of you guys already typing in the comments that are upset that Eruption is changed and not Dead Hard, I can almost promise you that Dead Hard eventually will get changed just because of how meta-inducing it still is. So regardless if it's strong or not, the pick rate on Dead Hard is just way too high, probably about 80% of your games if I had to guess. So yes, that will be getting a change in my opinion in the future. Nonetheless, let's talk about what has been changed now, and that is Eruption. So they said many of you had raised concerns surrounding the perk disproportionately affecting solo queue players. Let's see what changes they're going to be making. They said Eruption will now cause the generator to lose 10% of its current progress and not its total progress. This means this effect will be less severe on generators with a less progress, but more impactful on generators that are nearly completed, so not too bad. They said second, Eruption will no longer apply the incapacitated effect on survivors when repairing the generator when it is exploded. Instead, survivors who are actively working on the generator will scream and reveal their aura to the killer for 10 seconds. Not only will this make the perk less frustrating for solo players, but it will also give killers critical information on the other survivors' whereabouts so they can attempt to interrupt them. Overall, I think this is a pretty good change. This seems a lot like Scourge Hook, like the old Scourge Hook where you could actually see the auras of everybody, and it's quite interesting overall. I want to see what it's going to do and how it's really going to shake up the meta, but honestly, I think it's still quite good. Combining Eruption with something like Pop, anything along the lines like that, even Scourge Hook, and then Jolt, you can have a really tough, strong build that survivors are still going to have a difficult time to deal with. Obviously, Eruption needed some changes, so I'm happy they did that. There's also another perk that has been changed, and that is Any Means Necessary. If you guys remember, Any Means Necessary allows the survivor to pick up a drop pallet. This had a little bit of a cooldown, so not too much people use them, and it was fairly long as well. Well, now they decided to remove the cooldown entirely, making so that survivors can use this perk and drop and reset any pallet that's not broken yet. This is kind of big. I think this one can actually work out quite well, especially on a killer that doesn't like to break pallets. Obviously, the simple counter, break the pallets, is what you should do, but in certain cases, you might forget about something and a survivor can easily pick up the pallet. I think this will definitely increase the pick rate of this, and it looks quite interesting. Carrying on over, they said that they have some new outfit plans. They basically went on and said that they have tons and tons of characters, over 64 in total, so it's kind of hard to put out cosmetics in a good amount of time with careful planning, as there's just so much of them. Essentially, to combat this, they're basically saying we're going to be getting a lot of new outfits, a lot more. They specified and said that they have expanded their production capacity to increase the number of cosmetics that we can produce for each update, and we should start seeing the results over the coming months. With this, they hope to both increase the quantity and variety of outfits we release without sacrificing quality. They actually gave us a sneak peek. I'm sure you guys have seen how much people don't actually play Hattie, and we've had Hattie Day, things like that in the community where people are trying to get the pick rate up on her. And here are some cosmetics that they're sharing for her in 6.6, 6.7, 7.0, and then 7.1. I'm assuming 7.0 is going to be the anniversary update, so it seems like we're getting a variation of something that she had. Not really a variation, but more of a extension, essentially. And you can probably expect the same for some of the other characters, especially the ones that aren't played as much, i.e. the twins, etc. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it because it can definitely give some characters some more spotlight, and especially if they're legendary skins or licensed cosmetic, I'm sure people will eat it up. The final thing that they addressed in this developer update is an update to cheating. They said, wrapping things up, we have a quick update on our ongoing plan to combat cheating. Not only have we continued to detect and patch out various cheats since the last update, but we've also expanded our team. We've recently welcomed a new team lead to our growing security team who will help coordinate our efforts moving forward. That is pretty cool. Optimistic news for the future. All in all, pretty alright developer update. This is looking good. So I'm assuming that they gave us this developer update, and we're probably going to see this all in a PTB. Normally when they give us this information, we get it on the following Tuesday, so maybe you can expect this on Tuesday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time, as typically that's where it's at, which will also be Valentine's Day, so we'll see how that all goes. Nonetheless, that is the developer update all wrapped up and tied in a bow. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for some more Dead by Daylight content. Thank you for the overwhelming support on our previous video as well. I really do appreciate it, and I'm happy you guys enjoyed the style of video. More of those are on the way. And that's going to do it for me. As always, I'm Nick King. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.